1. Introduction. My name is Fiona. I am 18 years old. I live with my mother, father, and grandmother, Rose. Grandma Rose is an older woman, sometimes sick, but always kind and wise. I love her very much. She is very important to me. Grandma Rose raised me when I was a small child. My parents were often busy with work or friends, so Grandma was always there. She taught me many things like reading and writing. She listened to my problems and gave good advice. We have a special bond. Every morning, I help Grandma Rose get out of bed and walk to the kitchen. I make her breakfast. We eat and talk. She often tells me interesting stories from her young days about her childhood and how life was different. I like listening. These moments make me feel close to her. Taking care of Grandma Rose is a big part of my daily life. She needs help with many things like water or medicine. My parents are not always available. When Grandma calls, my mother or father often says, "Fiona, can you help your grandma?" This happens often. Sometimes I feel tired. It is hard to do everything, especially with my schoolwork. But I never complain. I understand she needs my help. I feel deep respect for her. She did so much for our family. She gave us this house, took care of my parents as children, and also took care of me. She gave everything for us. Because of this, I believe it is my turn to help her now. It is important to show her the same care and love. I want her to feel safe and happy. This is why I help her every day, even when tired. Our relationship is the most important one in my life. 2. A sad night. One cold night, Grandma became very ill. She started coughing a lot, and her body was shaking. She felt very cold and could not sleep. I stayed right next to her bed all through the long night. I felt very worried for her. My parents were sleeping in their room. I went to their door and tried to wake them up. I told them Grandma was not well. My father just told me to handle it by myself. My mother also said I could take care of it. They did not get out of bed. I went back to Grandma's room, feeling alone with her. The next morning, I knew Grandma needed a doctor. I helped her get ready and took her to the clinic. The doctor looked at Grandma carefully. He told me that Grandma needed a lot of rest. She also had to take her medicine every day. The doctor said she now needed constant care. She would need someone to look after her all the time. I felt very worried when we came back home. I wondered who would help me. I knew I could not do it all alone. My parents were in the living room. They did not ask about Grandma. They did not ask what the doctor said. Instead, they turned on the television. They started watching a funny show and laughing loudly. I felt very angry inside. My own grandmother was very sick, but my parents showed no concern. They just sat and watched TV. They did not seem to care about Grandma's health. I wanted to shout, but I stayed quiet. I knew I had to be strong for Grandma. It was a sad night, and the next day felt even sadder. I looked at Grandma, who was now very weak. I knew things would be harder now, and a heavy feeling stayed in my heart. 3. A bad plan. One afternoon, I was walking near the kitchen. I heard my parents talking inside. Their voices were low at first, but then I heard important words. My father said something that made me stop. He spoke about sending Grandma to an elder's home. I stood very still, listening closely to their conversation. I could not believe what I was hearing. It felt like a bad dream. My heart started beating fast, and a cold feeling went through my body. My father continued to speak. He said, "We should send her to the elder's house. We will finally have the house to ourselves." His words were calm, almost happy. He did not sound worried or sad. He sounded like he was planning a holiday, not talking about his own mother. I felt a knot in my stomach. What did he mean by have the house to ourselves? This house was Grandma's house first. She gave it to them. Then my mother answered him. She said, "Yes, we can change her room into a guest room, or maybe even a small office. It's time for us to live freely." She spoke about Grandma's room as if it was just an empty space, waiting for a new use. She did not think about Grandma's feelings or where she would go. They only thought about what they wanted. They wanted more space and more freedom. I felt a deep shock. My hands started shaking. I leaned against the wall, trying to be quiet. How could they talk like this about Grandma? She was their mother. She cared for them when they were small. She was always kind and loving. Now they were talking about sending her away. They saw her as a problem, a burden, not a family member. It was heartbreaking to hear them. Grandma gave them this house many years ago. She worked hard to buy it. She cared for them when they had nothing. She raised me when they were busy. She gave everything she had for our family. And now they wanted to send her to a place where old people go to live alone. This was a very bad plan. It was selfish and cruel. I felt very angry and sad. I knew I had to do something. For a big fight. It was dinner time. I sat at the table with my parents. The food was there, but I felt a big knot in my stomach. My heart beat fast. I knew I had to speak. I took a deep breath. "I know your plan," I said. My voice was shaky, but I tried to be strong. "You want to send Grandma away. I will not let you do it." My father stopped eating. He put down his fork. He looked at me. "Fiona," he said, "this is not your choice. We are adults. We have our own lives. We cannot care for her anymore." "No," I said, my voice louder. "You don't care for her. I do. I help her every day. You only think about yourselves. Grandma gave you this house. She cared for you. She deserves respect, not to be thrown away." My mother put her hand on the table. Her face turned red. "Fiona, that is enough," she shouted. "You are just a child. You don't understand adult problems. This is our decision." I stood up from my chair. My hands were shaking. I felt hot with anger and sadness. "I understand that you are being selfish," I shouted back. My voice was very loud. My father stood up too. He looked angry. My mother talked fast, saying I was disrespectful. It was a big fight. Words flew like sharp stones. Tears came to my eyes, but I did not want them to see me cry. I felt alone against them. I could not stay there. I turned and ran out of the dining room. I ran into Grandma's room. I closed the door. I went to her bed and sat next to her. Big tears started to fall. I put my head on her blanket and cried. Grandma was awake. She moved her hand and put it on my head. She gently touched my hair. "Fiona, my dear," she said softly. Her voice was weak but full of love. "Do not cry, please." She held my hand. It felt warm and safe. "Thank you," she said again. "Thank you for standing up for me. You are a brave girl, my brave girl." Her words made me feel a little better. I knew I had done the right thing. I would not let them send her away. Not ever. 5, the old house. A few days after the big fight, my parents said we were going out. We needed to visit a place for Grandma. I knew what they meant. They were taking me to the elder's house they had chosen. My heart felt heavy. The car ride was quiet. I felt worried. Soon, we arrived at a large, old building. It looked very dark. The paint was peeling and some windows looked dirty. No flowers or plants grew around it. It felt like a sad place. My parents walked quickly to the door, but I walked slowly. I did not want to enter. Inside, the air was heavy with a strange, bad smell. The hallway was long and dark. Dim lights made everything look gray. The walls were plain. There was no music, no happy sounds, only quiet. I heard my own footsteps and my parents' soft whispers. We walked into a big room. Many old people sat there in chairs or wheelchairs. Most looked down or stared. Their faces were sad. No one was talking or smiling. Some looked very lonely. This was not a place for my kind grandma. I felt sadness. Then I saw a nurse. She stood next to an old woman who moved slowly. The nurse spoke loudly, telling her to hurry. The old woman looked scared. My stomach twisted. How could someone treat an elder like that? My parents did not seem to notice. They just walked past. My parents stopped and pointed to a small, crowded room. "See, Fiona, this is good. They will take care of her here," my mother said. My father added, "It is also very cheap. That is important for us." I could not believe them. "No," I said, my voice strong. "This is not good. It is dirty and it smells bad. The people here are sad. Grandma will be very unhappy. She cannot live in this terrible place." My father just shrugged his shoulders. "It is the best we can do," he said. I shook my head. I could not stay there. I walked quickly out of the room and out of the building. My parents followed. Standing outside, breathing fresh air, a strong feeling came over me. I knew I must do something. I would not let Grandma come here. I decided I must fight for her. This old house was not for my grandma. 6. My own idea. Fiona decided she had to do something. She could not let Grandma live in that sad place. She knew she had to find a better solution. This was her own idea. First, Fiona gathered important items for Grandma. She found all of Grandma's medical papers. These showed her medicine needs. Fiona also found Grandma's ID card and some old family photos. Grandma loved looking at these pictures. Then Fiona started to search for care centers. She used the computer and called places. She wanted a good place for Grandma. She spent many hours looking. Finally, she found one that seemed much better. This new place was very different. It was clean and bright inside. Rooms had big windows, letting in sunlight. The workers were very kind. They smiled often. Fiona saw the elders looked happy and calm. The staff treated them with respect. She saw they truly cared. The new center offered good care. It had nurses all the time and activities for elders. Fiona learned this place cost more money. However, they had special discounts for families. Fiona thought this could make it possible. Fiona went home and faced her parents. "I found a new place for Grandma," she said. "It is a good place. She will be happy there." She gave them two choices. "Grandma goes to this place or she stays with us. If she stays, you will help me." Her parents looked at her. They laughed. "We do not have money for such an expensive place, Fiona," her father said. Her mother nodded. Fiona did not give up. She looked at them with serious eyes. "Yes, you do have money," she said. "You can sell your new television, or you can stop your expensive weekend trips. You spend a lot on things you do not need. You can pay for this good place." Her parents did not like her words. Their faces became red, but Fiona did not stop. She stood tall. They could see she was very serious. For the first time, Fiona felt strong. She was not afraid to speak her mind. 7. A new home. After many difficult talks, my parents finally said yes. They agreed to send Grandma to the better care center I had found. I felt a big sense of relief. It had been a long fight, but we had won. Grandma would not go to the sad old house. Grandma was very happy. She held my hands and looked into my eyes. "You are a good girl, Fiona," she said softly. "I am so proud of you for fighting for me." Her words made my heart feel warm. We started to pack her things. We folded her favorite sweaters and put them into a small suitcase. We also packed her old photo albums and the books she loved to read. She chose a small, soft blanket. Each item was special. The next day, we drove to the new care center. The building looked bright and welcoming. Inside, the walls were painted in light colors. The air smelled fresh. 2 nurses came to greet us. They had kind smiles. "Welcome, Rose," one nurse said gently to Grandma. "We are happy you are here." They helped us carry Grandma's bag. Her new room was on the first floor. Sunlight came through a large window. It made the room feel warm and cheerful. There was a comfortable bed, a small table, and a soft armchair. Outside the window, we could see a beautiful garden with colorful flowers. Grandma walked slowly to the window and looked out. A small smile appeared on her face. "This feels very nice," she said. She sat down in the armchair and looked around. She seemed to feel at home right away. I sat with her for a long time. Before I left, I held her hand. "I will visit you every week, Grandma," I promised her. She squeezed my hand gently. "I know you will, my dear," she said, and I kept my promise. Every Sunday, I took the bus to the care center. I spent the whole afternoon with Grandma. I brought her fresh flowers. Sometimes I brought her a small treat, like a piece of cake she liked. I told her stories about my week at school and what was happening at home. She listened carefully, and her eyes sparkled. She always looked happy to see me. It was a new beginning for Grandma, and it felt like the right one. 8. The right thing. Months passed quickly. Grandma Rose was very happy in her new home. Her health was much better. She did not cough as much, and she felt stronger every day. She loved her sunny room and the beautiful garden outside. She made many new friends there. They sat together and talked. They played simple games and shared stories. Sometimes they watched movies in a common room. Grandma Rose always had a smile on her face. She felt safe and cared for. This new place was good for her. I kept my promise to Grandma. Every Sunday, I visited her. I took the bus to the care center. I always brought her small gifts, like her favorite cookies or a new magazine. Sometimes I brought fresh flowers for her room. When I arrived, Grandma always waited for me by the window. Her eyes lit up when she saw me. We spent the whole afternoon together. We talked about my school, my friends, and what was new at home. She told me more stories from her youth. We laughed a lot. She held my hand often. Our bond was very strong. I loved seeing her so happy and healthy. It made my heart feel warm. My parents started visiting Grandma too. At first, their visits were short. They looked uncomfortable. I think they felt a little ashamed. They saw how well Grandma was doing. They saw her new friends and how kind the staff were. After some time, they started to visit more often. They saw that Grandma was truly happy here. They stopped looking so uncomfortable. They began to talk with her more. They even brought her small things sometimes. It was a slow change, but it was a good change. They finally understood that this was the best place for her. One day, when we were all visiting Grandma, my father looked at me. He spoke very quietly. He said, "Fiona, you were right." I did not say many words back. I just smiled a little. His words were important to me. It showed that he understood now. He saw that I had done a good thing for Grandma. It was a quiet moment, but it meant a lot. This whole experience taught me many things. I learned that respect is not just about saying nice words. It is about what you do. It is about your actions. Even when things are hard and others do not understand, it is important to do the right thing. I stood up for Grandma. I protected her when she needed me. She had protected me when I was small. Now, I protected her. This made me feel very strong inside. I knew I had done my best for her. It was a good feeling to know I had done the right thing.